Okay, so I have all our ingredients ready to start making our mini protein donuts. Right here, I have our stevia sugar, which we will be using 2 1/3 cups. I also have prepared our 8-ounce water, 4 eggs, which should be room temperature. Make sure you don't leave them out more than an hour. But what I like to do is I like to leave them out for at least 10 minutes, then crack them into our cup and leave them out for at least another minute. Now for the butter, I use the stick butter, and it's the non-salted butter. So this butter has less sodium. I melt it in the microwave. So what I do is I cut it in half, put it in the cup, put it on soft melt, and I go ahead and put it in the microwave. This is the butter I use. It's 4-ounce sticks, so you need half the ounce. I love this one because it has 0 sodium, so it doesn't affect the recipe. So now this is the coconut oil. The coconut oil, I also do the same. I pour it onto a glass container because it's easier for me to melt it and store it. So I would continue storing the coconut oil. I basically take it out of the container and put it into this one. I also love this coconut oil because it has 0 sodium, so it doesn't affect my recipe. So we're gonna do 6 tablespoons coconut oil. We have our sugar in the mixer. And now we're gonna pour the butter and the coconut oil into the mixer. I'm going to lock it in place. Make sure you always lock it so it doesn't splatter everywhere. So now it's mixing. While it's mixing, I'm getting our dry ingredients, which I pre-make and I store them so that I have them ready and I don't have to do everything step by step. We all have our secret ingredients, but this is a quick tip that I can share with you guys. Make sure you shake it up so that the baking soda and the baking powder mixes well in your recipe, because if it's not all over the place in the mix, it won't work how it's supposed to work. So make sure you always mix it. I usually mix it with a fork before closing it, and then I mix it again in the bottom when I'm making it. So now I'm pouring it all out. Make sure you pour it all out into the mix. All right, once you have poured it all out, you're going to mix it on number 2. I mix it on number 2. I pour the eggs, the room temperature eggs, which haven't touched the coconut oil. The coconut oil doesn't react good with cold eggs or cold water, but that's why we have everything room temperature. So now I'm pouring 8 ounces of water. And another quick tip, I'm mixing at 2 right now because it's a lot of dry ingredients in there. Make sure you lock the machine. I forgot to lock it here, but here I am, I lock it. So we're doing 2 tablespoons vanilla extract. Now, I like to mix it in the water because I feel like it makes the flavor go everywhere. So I'm going to pour little by little, while it's still mixing on low. It's on number 2 right now. So it's mixing on low. And I'm going to let it mix on number 2 for a little longer. My machine is from 1 to 10. So it's mixing on number 2. I'm going to clean up a little bit. I like to keep everything as clean as possible. So when I'm done, I can just continue with my day. All right, so now I'm moving it to 10. So the highest speed on my mixer right now. So while it's mixing, the mini donut machine, which is an electric mini donut machine, is being preheated at 170. I don't bake them at 170, but I preheat the machine on 170 for at least 10 minutes. Now, this is what I use. A lot of people like to use the bag, which, is usually what you use for topping cupcakes, topping cake. But this dispenser for me, it helps me not make a mess, because with the bag, I was making a huge mess. I have 2 left hands. And if you are like me, you need a dispenser like this. It is a little harder to push out, but it does the job. So now I'm going to pour the batter into the dispenser after I make sure everything is mixed in correctly. So I'm going to take the spatula and make sure everything is mixed in good. Okay, so I'm mixing everything in, making sure there's no powder. I'm pouring it into the bottle where the batter will be for me to pour it out of the bottle into the electric machine. I'm using a spatula made out of silicone, which I feel gets most of the batter out. This batter makes exactly 50 donuts with a little bit left over, so maybe like 52 donuts, but usually 50. So now I'm going to pour, and make sure you don't over pour. If you over pour, it's not going to cook correctly. So make sure that you're pouring a good amount, but it shouldn't be too over the line. So like this, how it looks here. Now close it, and we're going to bake it at 160 for only 2.5 minutes. It has its timer, but if you don't have a machine with a timer, just put 2.5 minutes. I had already preheated the machine at 170 for 10 minutes. I brought it down to 160 in order to bake it. So now I'm going to use a spatula that's also made out of silicone to remove the mini donuts. This is our mini donuts. This is how they look. So now using the spatula, I will remove them. And then I will continue making more.